Good morning, everyone. Anna's here, Daily Juice. So I wanted to hop on real quick. I am at the airport heading to the East Coast. I want to talk to you about passwords. How strong are your passwords? Now, we live in the modern world where there's anything that you do is going to have a password. Hi, Lindsay. Good to have you. So I want to challenge you to think about where do you have your passwords? Where do you store your passwords? And particularly about financial or finance-related type of accounts, your bank accounts, various apps that you're using. Good morning, Chris. How are you? So, where is all this information stored? Is it in your head? Is it written down somewhere in a little black book that you're carrying with you? Is it on your phone? Do you have a password on your phone? Right? So I know that, and I actually got a question about this from a client yesterday on a webinar I was doing. You know, it's like, how secure are we? Hi, Katya, good to have you. How safe are we in using various applications, right, when our data is exposed? Hi, Tonya, good to have you here. So I want you to think about, I don't have a magic bullet here to share with you in terms of what would make you the most secure and what would prevent you from getting your identity stolen, from getting your credit cards hacked, your debit cards, any of that stuff, right? Look what happened when we had Equifax breach last August, right? Everybody was exposed. So we just have to be okay with the idea that it's kind of all out there, right? But I need you to look back at your passwords, wherever they are, even the password for your email. Yeah, Chris, Chris is pointing out that he's a bit suspicious about the apps that actually store passwords. You know, I tell you what, I use LastPass. I have enormous amount of passwords for my business that I have to keep track of, maintain. And here's why I decided to use LastPass for my business. What if something were to happen to me and either my husband or my operations manager will have to take over the business? How are they going to manage that? So just because I am the one in charge of everything doesn't mean I can't pass that information to others. So I have to definitely trust and rely, and believe me, I've done my research in terms of what and how that information is stored. So let's start with the very basics. Let's just make sure we're not using weak passwords. That's number one. Let's make sure that the practice I have is twice a year. Hi AJ, I go through all of my accounts, right? Financial accounts, my email accounts, Facebook, social media, all the things that you're constantly using, and I change and update the password. So that's number one. Number two, if you want to have more of a streamlined process, check out those password managers, okay? They are useful, but you just have to understand what are you actually exposing. Like, one feature of the LastPass is that you don't even have to create a password. It generates it for you, and it's some crazy numbers, letters that you can't even come up with that yourself. So I feel like that's an extra layer of protection. Okay, so take a look at what's happening, and don't just take it for granted. Just because you've had accounts forever, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be exposed to anything. So that's really as far as passwords and how secure you think your various things are. You just have to be, hi Acharna, good to have you here. You just have to be okay with the fact that we live in the world where there's really very little privacy about anything that we do, and any day things can come up, okay? Oh, yes, good point, Chris. There is something called two-step authentication process or dual verification code. So, for example, a lot of the financial institutions, so banks, for example, Vanguard, Schwab, TD Ameritrade, all of those custodians now allow you to have not only a strong password, they encourage you to have a strong password, but what they also do is they put sort of a second layer of protection on the top of that, and you can have a code sent to you to your phone, and that is the only way to get into your account. So let's say that somebody does try to break into one of your accounts, right, that they're supposed to be somewhat secure, that's going to be one of the mechanisms to prevent them doing that. Now, as much as I like that, and you know what, you know which account should have the two-step verification process that most people don't think about? It's your email, because there is so much information in that one particular place. Think about it, right? We send our passwords reset there, confirmations, personal information. It's not the credit cards you shouldn't be worried about or your bank accounts. All of that is recoverable. It's your email. So the other piece, hi Ken, hi Deborah, good to have you here. So the other piece about the two-step verification process, I really advocate for aggregation programs such as Mint, Quicken, Personal Capital for keeping track of your spending. But these two-step verification process, if you have that set up on your accounts, it prevents the aggregators actually going into your account and scraping the data so they can aggregate it. So it's one of those things you kind of have to decide, where do you feel like you are going to be the most exposed. So, all right, I'm going to have to jump off, but that's kind of what I want you to think about. Reassess where you guys are. Hi, Yula. Good to have you here. Hi, Kent. I'm sorry I'm going to miss you at 10X. Chris, I hope you're going. There's a big group of us that are getting together. So I'm excited. I'm hopping on the plane, heading to the East Coast. Not really excited because it's about 70 degrees here in San Francisco. And I hate to live this weather. But thanks you guys for hopping on. If you have other tips and suggestions that you found practical in terms of keeping this sort of maze of passwords and how to stay sort of afloat ahead of everything, let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.